It's a lot of motivation, it's a little bit of scheme, and it's a lot of who the guy is catching the ball.
The Nears are getting the special teams in order. They had that debacle last year against Syracuse, but they better because Quinton Spotwood is there. His next punt return for a touchdown would be his 5th. That would be a new NCAA record all by himself. Now, the national punt return leader at 22 yards per with a couple of touchdowns is Iowa's Tim Dwight. And last year's punt return champion, Allen Rossum, Notre Dame, has taken a couple of kickoffs back. 8 total returns for touchdowns. That is an NCAA career record. We asked these three to explain the misunderstood science of the successful return. He works in a unit, but in the end, all alone on a landscape that's constantly shifting, judging a ball in flight while trying to ignore a 1.5 tons of pounding pursuit he can't even look at until it's almost too late. The return man is stuck at the back of a very crowded elevator. His job, to be the first one out the door.
There would be a lot to think about if you thought about all of it.
It's a lot of motivation, it's a little bit of scheme, and it's a lot of who the guy is catching the ball.
And Dwight has the room. He is going. And returning the kickoff, Allen Rossum, and the crowd goes wild. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I better catch this ball because my mom and everyone is going to laugh at me. Sometimes I'll play around back here like I'm going to think the snap, and I might go left, but I'm actually going the other way.
I sort of just visualized catching it and running with it, as far as I could.
The kid, he could catch, people, I think he could catch BBs in the dark, His hands are just that good.
If the wind's blowing, they'll drop quicker. I mean, they come over and they start to nose down, and they actually nose down, and they curve back down away from you. We call ones that are fat, they're kind of wobbly, like you can just see the belly on. Those are really easy to catch. I mean, you're like, oh man, this is an easy catch. The ball comes, I catch it. I secure the ball first. You just kind of high hands, because if you don't have any high hands, your shoulder pads won't let your arms come together so the ball will slip through. So you try to get the high hands, you just try to cradle it down in.
I sort of get it and wait a split second.
And should I shuffle left? Should I shuffle right? If they're going full speed, it's easier for me to slide them. But the first thing I better do is get to that hole before it closes.
You can almost see it, unfolding. So it starts with the first block. You see it set up, so, you give a little ground to gain a little ground. And then you just see, dominoes. You just see everyone falling. A lot of times, though, I mean, it's like you see the opposing team, you see your guy, and then you see an opposing team guy, and then the other guy is supposed to block him is way back there. That's when you have to improvise on your own, with the cut or something. But majority of the time, it's just free sailing.
Once I get to the hole, I kind of have another gear. I call it, a little super burst of energy thing. You just turn straight ahead, just flying 100 miles an hour. You're just not really thinking. I mean, I don't think you have the time to think. And next thing you know, I'm in the end zone, and I'm doing my celebration. And I may even do a little bit of that, spin the ball, something like that. Actually, no, kids, that's now illegal, so we can't do that. I was just joking. What I do is I hand the ball to the ref, and I give all the glory to those guys in front of me because they are the reason that I'm here.
No, that's for sure. This is sometimes an overlooked part of the game by fans, but certainly not by coaches. And they know you don't have to get to the end zone to be effective.
Chris, everybody looks at the run and pass stats and see how they did, but coaches look first at the hidden yardage from the kicking game. And the reason why, the hidden yardage usually determines field position, which indicates if you're in the ball game or not and keeps the game close. Perfect example, a couple of weeks ago, Iowa had 194 yards in return yardage, and they only had 184 total offense that kept the game close. The next week against Ohio State, Zippo in return yards and got bombed. It's been like that for 100 yards. That hidden yardage is the difference between winning and losing big games.
You're exactly right. The special teams are kind of the game within the game in a college football game. If you think about it, a lot of fans take this for granted. It's not only field position, as Coach mentioned, but also as far as momentum goes. There's nothing more uplifting than getting a big punt return to get good field position. For fans to remember, special teams and punt returns are a planned play. It's an architect, if you think about it, choreographed from the punt return coach. He comes up with a scheme to try to block everybody. It's like an off-tackle play or a corner blitz. It's designed, the thing is, timing up those big blocks.
You talked about positive momentum. You could have negative momentum, too, if you muff a snap, too. Charles Woodson, he does his part on special teams and on defense as well. We'll talk Big Ten football. Billy Dickett and Purdue, this is a major test as they go into Iowa. It's coming up.